I've increasingly seen this term in the financial news, labor shortage. And I think I'm going to start doing more videos on sort of interpreting the financial news. But there's been a lot of articles on a labor shortage. And as a free market, I'm in finance and economics, this is a very strange term. So in other words, we shouldn't have a shortage in a free market, right? The idea is shortages only occur when government sets tariffs, quotas, when they set prices and so forth. So it would be a very strange thing if the market is free for labor to have a shortage of a particular type of labor in a market. So right off the bat, this is a very, I'm suspicious of this, right? Or anyone should be suspicious of a shortage. If you see there's a shortage of wheat, right? We say, okay, well, why is there a shortage of wheat? If there's a free market for wheat, well, what is the mechanism causing the shortage? So going over, what they mean by labor shortage, right? We can look at our normal price and quantity, right? Supply and demand curves from economics, right? So, and I drew this a little. Let me move this axis down a little bit. There we go. So we have our quantity, right? And we can have our supply curve and we can have our demand curve. I often hear of the labor shortage around here in terms of nurses, and you can also hear it in IT. So I might say supply and demand for nurses or something like that. But this is the number of nurses you'll have if you pay this particular wage. So you can think of this as the wage, and then and I'll just say the number of nurses here, right? So the idea here is, normally we have a market clearing price, right? So this is going to be the wage where supply equals demand and the market clears. So we have all the, so at this price, everyone who wants a nurse, anyone who wants to employ a nurse has one, right? But I constantly hear the term nurse shortage. So what's happening here is, well, the hospitals or the employers for nurses, they only want to pay this price, right? So they're gonna, they want to pay this price right here. So if we draw our line here, right? Well, then this is the quantity of nurses supplied to the market, and this is the quantity demanded by the market. So the idea, the quantity demanded by the market is a lot more than the quantity supplied by the market, at this price. So the idea here is now we have a shortage. But it's not really a shortage. They're calling it a shortage. What's going on here is they just don't want to pay the market clearing price. What's going on, obviously, just talking a little bit about current events, is there was drastic inflation, right? So we've had double-digit inflation over the past couple of years. I won't, maybe in some other videos I'll go over inflation numbers that government numbers versus maybe market estimated numbers and so forth. But the idea is we've had very high inflation, and employers just haven't wanted to increase their salary. So if they're not increasing their salary, right, they're not going to have all the nurses that they want, and there's going to be a quote shortage. It is not anything other than they're not increasing their salary enough, right? And they'd rather say any time you see financial news, it's somebody is trying to put their actions in the best light. So a hospital or someone will say, well, it's not that I'm not paying enough or I don't want to pay enough. It's just a shortage, right? But this is what we're seeing, and we see this in information technology and a lot of other industries. If hospitals were to say, okay, well, I'm going to pay $200,000 per year for each nurse, obviously there's not going to be a shortage. Now, theoretically, there could be some unique specialty like of nursing where it's new and we haven't been able to train enough people into that specialty. That could be a temporary shortage, but that's not what we're seeing in the economy, and that shortage would be solved fairly quickly. Just taking nurses that are in similar fields and cross-training them. It could be, if somebody wanted to solve it very quickly, it could be. But obviously, if the salary were to go up, we wouldn't have a shortage. So anytime you see in the news the term labor shortage, what you want to think about is, well, you know, is there truly some sort of mechanism, and again, maybe in some sort of area of mining engineering, but these are going to be edge cases. Most often, this is just a term for employers saying, I don't want to pay the market clearing salary. So that's why there's a shortage. But I do want to impress upon you that in a free market, right, you know, there should not be any shortage. So anytime you see a term like this, you should be suspicious of it, right? You should be saying, okay, well, you know, what is the mechanism that is allowing supply and demand not to meet, right? Excellent. Have a great day.